Please can you introduce yourself and tell us about what you're doing now and where you've come from.
So I'm George Hetherington. I'm currently working in the Early Years Centre. I'm a class teacher. Previously I was working at an inner city London school.
And how long have you worked at Harrow, Bangkok?
4 months now.
Just 4 months. What were your first impressions of the school when you first arrived in the bus from the airport?
It's huge, the site is massive, and we had a tour quite early on and I felt lost straight away, but you quickly learn your way around, you do learn your way around. Everybody was so friendly and so helpful as well. As soon as we arrived we were taken straight to our accommodation, we were helped out with food, it was all, everything was sorted inside, kitchen equipment, so that was great.
Okay, and so now you've been here for 4 months. How would you describe it now? So you thought it was vast and you couldn't find your way around, but now 4 months in, how do you feel now?
Still vast, but friendly. You quickly attach to your team and your team look after you amazingly well, and then slowly you start to reach out into the different departments, the different areas of the school. It moves so quickly. The pace here, you're always on your feet, so you're always travelling around, seeing places, seeing new people.
Oh, that's good. And your class, what's it like and how is it teaching? Is it quite different than teaching in the UK?
The class is fantastic. The children are so engaged, they really are, and real individuals. Compared to the UK, the lessons move really quickly. You're going through a lot in the curriculum material, but the class sizes are a lot smaller. You feel like you've got a lot more time per individual in your class, which is really nice.
That's really good. And does it make a difference teaching children it's their second language? English is their second language. Do you have to think about that at all?
Yeah, from my background, it was I treat them a lot like the EAL children that I dealt with in the UK, and you have to think a lot about the language that you're using with them. But they pick it up quite quickly, and there's a lot of push for English inside and outside the school at home, so they do pick it up.
Oh, very good. Okay, so you arrived at Harrow and you moved into your accommodation. So your accommodation, you chose not to live on site and you're living off site. Tell us a little bit about your house.
Oh, it's huge. It's a mansion. It's a massive 4-bedroom house just off school. It takes me about 10 minutes to walk into school, nothing at all. It's really, really well furnished, everything that I would need, plenty of space for any visitors or anything like that.
Nice. And on the campus, are you allowed to use the facilities for your own good, in the evenings and when you're not at work? What is there to use?
Yes, there's a huge swimming pool and gym facilities. Every single type of sport is supported here. And what's really nice is there's clubs. So as a new teacher, you start to meet new people very, very quickly from that social point of view, going to football, badminton, whatever you're into.
Okay. How do you find the weather?
Hot. It is very hot. It took a while to acclimatise, but you do acclimatise to it. You do get used to it. And all the classrooms and houses are air conditioned, but don't underestimate that first impression of how hot it is.
It is very hot. And what about the food? Because the Thai food apparently is extremely spicy. How do you cope with that?
It's fine actually. You very quickly learn to ask for a little bit of spice. But lots of the chefs and anywhere we've eaten know that straight away. The food's incredible and so easy to get. And what's really nice is when you form relationships with your teaching assistants, they come over and cook for you as well and show you how to cook Thai food.
Oh,
that's good too.
That's really good. Some new teachers often say to us, is there enough to do when you're not at school? What do you do in your spare time? Where do you go? What do you do?
The new teachers this year bonded really quickly, and we socialise a lot at the weekends. There's so much to see and do in Bangkok, and locally as well. We've gone on hikes to the local wildlife sanctuary, just slightly up north, visit a lot of the museums. The restaurants around here are really, really good. So you'll never ever be bored. There's so much to do, it's impossible.
So much to do.
Yeah.
And what about outside Bangkok? Have you been to any islands or any beaches? You've only been here 4 months, but have you been to the beach?
I've been up north to Chiang Mai, and it's so easy to get there because the airport is literally 10 minutes over the road, so you can get anywhere. And all the flights are about 2 hours, so by sunset you can be in a totally different country or different part of Thailand. And I would definitely recommend Chiang Mai. It's beautiful, stunning.
It's very beautiful. So you can do all these things, but can you afford to do all these exciting things?
Yeah, you don't even need to think about money really. Everything's so affordable compared back to the UK. Food just won't even come into it. Your household bills are nothing at all. The biggest expense is chocolate, imported chocolate.
And wine.
And
I hear that wine is expensive
Yeah.
because that's imported. Have you hired any help for your house? Do you have a maid or a driver or anybody?
Yeah, we've got a maid in our house, and we've also used drivers for the day when we're doing day trips. Again, really affordable. They do a fantastic job, help you with your tie as well. So.
Oh, that's very good. What sort of challenges are you facing living in Bangkok? Are there any challenges? Or?
The first thing that I found most difficult was the language, but as I said, you pick it up very, very quickly. Everybody tries really hard with English, but there's a few key phrases that you need to learn as soon as you get here. Taxi tie and restaurant tie.
Very good. So the language is very difficult. Can you just tell me a little bit about the process of how you got the job, and interview and coming here and things like that?
I went through an agency and had interviews with them. I then met with the head of school and head of primary school at Harrow on the Hill and had an interview there. I then had a follow-up interview with the head of the whole school, and then knew that we got the job after that third interview.
Very good. Tell me, I know you work in early years, could you just tell us about your average day and the routine of the day? So this is in early years.
In early years, we get set up quite early in the morning, setting everything up in the classroom. We then have a session in the morning with the children that goes through to lunchtime. That's broken up by a snack break. Usually during the day we'll have some specialist lessons as well, where a specialist Thai teacher, music teacher or PE teacher will come and take the children out. You then got another session from lunchtime until half time to the end of school, which is 2:40 at the moment, and that tends to be more around science, understanding the world, and not so academic, rote learning, hard learning.
Right, at that time of day. So what time do you end up going home?
After school you set up for the day, and you have meetings sometimes Monday, sometimes a club. So on average I would say I'm going home between 4-5 o'clock each night.
Okay. What sort of advice would you give to somebody who was thinking about coming to work out here at Harrow, Bangkok?
Harrow will support you, that's not even a question. Harrow's a brilliant place to come. Look at Bangkok if Bangkok will suit you. It's an amazing city to live in, but you do have to be quite adventurous. It's hard to find places, directions aren't great, and the roads are exceptionally busy. And with food, you've got to be very brave and experimental. You can't be too squeamish with the food. So if Bangkok suits you, then it's a must.
All right, I'll see it. And just to finish off, do you have one word or one sentence to describe Harrow, Bangkok?
Fast, enjoyable.
Fast and enjoyable. That's very good. Okay, thank you.